40.
That's what I thought. I know you may have just been confused for the last 3 sentences, but imagine feeling that way every second of every day. This is how deaf and hard of hearing people feel. I've spent a lot of time around deaf teachers, families with deaf children, deaf educators, and I've written a lot of papers on the subject, so I'm very knowledgeable. Deaf and hard of hearing people have 3 main options when it comes to communicating with others. The first would be cochlear implants, the second option would be ASL, and the third option would be hearing aids and speech therapy. The first option for deaf and hard of hearing people would be cochlear implants. This requires you to have very little to no hearing because the cochlear implant is going to destroy all the normal hearing that's in the ear. This is a diagram from DubMed of cochlear implant. As you can see, the sound processor takes outside sounds, translates them into electrodes, and it goes through the ear into the cochlea where it stimulates the auditory nerve and goes to the brain. It creates the alternate pattern of hearing that makes the deaf people available to hear. However, many people in the deaf community are against hearing aids because they don't see their lack of hearing as a disability. In their eyes, telling them that they need a cochlear implant would be like telling me, a completely normal person, that I need a wheelchair. According to the National Institute on Deafness and Other Communication Disorders, those who get hearing aids only have a 10% increase in sentence recognition, while those with cochlear implants have almost an 80% increase in sentence recognition. For many people, the surgical risk of getting a cochlear implant is well worth the reward of being able to hear. The next option for those who are deaf and hard of hearing would be ASL, American Sign Language. According to the World Foundation for Deafness, over 70 million people worldwide speak some form of sign language. Sign language not only uses your hands, but it also uses facial expressions. If I was to just look at you and point, that could mean you. If I was to look at you with my eyebrows furrowed, that could mean, did you do it? Because not many hearing people know sign language, there are interpreters who will translate English into sign language, but they're mostly only used in a formal capacity, so they're not there in the day-to-day conversations. This makes communicating with those who don't know sign language very hard, which is why many people, unless they're around a lot of deaf people, do not go this route. Most people go with hearing aids and speech therapy. This is for people who have some form of hearing, because the hearing aids only amplify the sounds. This would mean that if you had 50% hearing, you could increase that to 75% hearing or something like that. This is the most common method that those with a hearing disability use. This is Riley Reinson. He was a valedictorian in high school, a state golf champion, and a national champion last year at the University of Oklahoma. As you can see, he's wearing hearing aids. Listen to this small clip of him speaking after they won.
Pretty much everyone coming back from last year. We made it to the final 8, and we returned 4 guys from last year, and I just felt like we were really close to putting all the pieces together, and we just really believed in ourselves the entire year, and we knew that something special could happen.
As you could hear, he had a couple of slurred words. There was a slight mispronunciation. He talked with a muffle. This is what you would call deafy speech. This is why those who are hard of hearing need to go to speech therapy. The speech professional can help fix their words and help them formulate them into a way that will be normal for all of us. If you use hearing aids and speech therapy, you can seemingly overcome your deafness and be out in the real world. In conclusion, there are 3 main ways that those who are deaf and hard of hearing can communicate with the outside world. The first one will be cochlear implants, the second one will be sign language, and the third one will be hearing aids and speech therapy. Earlier in this presentation, I signed to you guys, "Good morning, nice to see you today, can you understand me?" I know that learning a few signs or slowing down your words so that deaf people can read your lips takes a little time on our part, but think of all the ways that they try to accommodate us. Isn't it time that we should start accommodating them?